What's going on, everybody? It is DJ, and today we are going to be talking about how to create a full set. Now, this doesn't have to be modded. It can be either a normal set or a modded set. Really, it doesn't matter. Now, you're gonna think like, well, it's modded if you make it somewhere else. Well, you can create a legit set by using the program as long as you don't add in like extra sockets and things like that. So it can be legit, you just gotta know how to make it that way. So I would just kind of get the items that you want with the roles you want and go from there for that if you're gonna do that. So I'm not gonna leave the link to this editor in the description because I don't want to get people confused and just have them skip around videos. I want them to know how to open it and open the saves. So I'm gonna leave it on the video that I made for the 2020 version, so that people can follow that first before they go into actually doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So real quick, you're going to want to create a character that you know that you are going to put the stuff on that you're not going to forget about. So I'd recommend, like, you know, changing the name. Like you can see I have my storage tune, but then like you can see up at the top that I have my new item character and things like that. So my storage tune is actually broken, but you can see like I have the icons set on here, but then I have bits and pieces of the Valor set. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and before you do anything in the program, you're going to want to go ahead and go in game and create the set and like kind of get your blueprints together, right? So now we're in the game, and this is where you're going to want to start things off, right? So you're going to want to go ahead, go through the game, find a set that you want to use, the bonuses and stuff that you want. Now, we also have to keep in mind we have between the gems that go in the items, the cube powers that go in our cube power slot, as well as the set itself. So you're going to want to, those are the things that you're going to want to like kind of piece together. You're also going to want to piece together how you want it to look, which can be kind of sort of after, but unless you're making weapons that are two-handed and you want them to match the set, I'd recommend at least putting some visuals together ahead of time. So what I usually do, which is why it takes me so long, is I do these steps. And if I were you, if you're not used to it, I would write down the things that you want, especially in the cube, and what you want on your items. This way you keep track of them. So right now we have the icon set on, and it's a modded set, right? So it's built to give us the bonuses from the icon, and basically it is kind of like a higher damage type of a set. It does have cooldown and things like that on it, but you're gonna want to keep those factors in mind. So you can see that it reduces the cost of abilities by 50 while the skill is active, as well as reduces the cooldown of the skill itself. So you're going to want to keep those in mind when you're making the set. You don't want to just piece things together and then hope for the best, right? So it is an interesting process, but you're going to also want, between the set itself, the gems you put in, and the cube powers, you're going to want to keep track of the skills and the passives, because you can see I'm actually currently, it's not this one, I believe it's my weapon, but we'll see in just a moment. But you can see that I do get some bonuses from Akan, the XXDJHAZZARD champion. So obviously that is going to be the set that I will use based around that skill, which means I need that skill active and present in order for me to do it. So I actually, the jewelry is something else entirely. They're a whole new mystery, right? So I think I'm gonna go with a con, because this set that I'm gonna do, I already pre-made what I wanted it to. I'm gonna make it high in defense, which a con and the XXDJHAZZARD champion does. So this weapon here is actually the weapon that I was talking about, where I actually, like, it benefits my icon set and gives me passives for my XXDJHAZZARD champion. So you can see here, it gives me these two out of the three. So quite honestly, you don't need those two. So if you have the two passives that the weapon gives you, you don't need them equipped, so you can put another one on, which is very beneficial because, well, you can see it increases my defense. So that is, you know, that's how you gotta do things. You gotta work around and keep in mind what you have. So the weapon helps me out with the skill, and then I can put an extra one on the skill. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change it and keep it how, you know, how I want because I'm doing bonus armor, right? So that is gonna tie later on with the making of the actual items, but I don't want to get too far ahead. We will be going back to the PC in a moment. So the rest of the skills, since I am going through and doing some high defensive type things, I am going to be using the Laws of Hope. Now this one, you know, you can kind of choose whichever ones that you want, quite honestly. But since I'm going for the highest armor type, I'm going to be, the skill automatically allows for 5 seconds to absorb damage for me and my allies. So that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be a tank, basically a Templar. Like, I wish that this character was specifically meant to be, but it really does have some high attack type things as well. But the steed is, it's really up to you if you want this on or not. It's really made for just going through for speed. But I mean, it is up to you what you want to use. It is kind of sort of a filler skill in my opinion, but it is up to you. One more thing I do want to point out is I do have the phalanx on, but this is because we are going to be doing 150 greater rifts. Now, even though I have a gem on that allows me to do critical hit damage as physical, I still have them on because they do physical damage, and it just helps things die faster, and, well, you have allies. Now, Blessed Shield is also just another filler, really. However, there is the ability for you to actually, like, when you hit a monster, you gain the defense from. So, since I'm going defensive, that is what I will be using. Now, I'm not going to actually select all of these things because when I put the actual set on, I want to see what each thing individually does in terms of defense for the character. So I'm going to kind of leave it as it is, and we're going to go ahead to the next thing. Now, Iron Skin is basically like, it makes you look sort of Iron Man-y-ish, or more like a knight armor type thing, which allows you to absorb 50% of incoming damage for the 4 seconds. So it is very beneficial. Now, I usually have it set to the ability to move faster, but it is up to you. But since I'm doing armor, we're gonna change things up a little bit on it. So real quick, I do want to stress that it really is up to you to ultimately decide what you're gonna want on the items. That is gonna, like, all the stuff between the set, the character's Paragon stats, depending on what level Paragon you are, the Q powers, the passives, and the skills, everything comes together. So you have to really make sure that you don't have a skill or a set bonus that gives you a passive, and then you click the passive also in your skills list, because it's not gonna stack it up for you. So just make sure you only have one. And I am going to be changing these up actually once I actually get the set going. That is because the ones that I have on are from another set previously, but I am going to keep a couple of the same, but we'll have to see. Once you get the set made how you want it for the game, you'll have a better understanding of what skills you're going to want when you actually load the game. So I would like to say, I would recommend using and doing the skill powers, or excuse me, the Q powers last. You can get a general idea of what you want, but I would say do this last, because you would, like, there's all sorts of different possibilities you can do. And I mean, you can change the Q powers at any time. So if you don't like one power, you can change it. Now, I think I am going to be using that shield, so that may be something that I put on, but I will be keeping this chest piece here as long as I can stay above the resource. So we'll have to see, but you can see, I mean, above 90% primary resource, all damage is reduced by 50%. So again, that's 50% more armor. And it's going perfectly well. Everything is kind of matching up. Now you can kind of experiment with the cube and see which ones you want to use. There are the rings out there, and actually I think they're amulets. I believe they're amulets that allow you to resist a single element. I personally wouldn't use them because it is only one element you are resistant to. But like I said, that is up to you. Now, the Paragon, I just want to say real quick, depending on your Paragon level, will depend on how strong your character will be. Now, it'll differ from everybody else, but we're going to get into, actually, once you have your ideas down and what you sort of kind of want, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go in the program, right? So, like I said, it doesn't have to be a modded character, so you can see I have a bunch of damage on here. I will be replacing that, but if you're making a legit character, chances are you're not going to want to put that max stuff on there. You're going to want to give yourself some leeway room there to improve. So I wouldn't max everything out. I will be changing the Scourge. I'm not really sure what I want yet. I do want that Maximus, so I may end up keeping that because I like it. I'm going to make a red set, so that's actually pretty perfect. Now don't worry about the removed, guys. They're items that I had from the previous version of the program. I don't really know why it says they're removed because they're literally in this same version as well, just not removed. It's very weird. But you can see, like, I have a bunch of strength and things on some of these. Don't worry about these nuns. These are blank socket spaces. But you can see I have damage and damage percent. Now, for the rings, it is a little bit different. So the rings, I usually put like my resources, and I actually leave damage on them. That is because the armor is actually, for this set, just a quick little hint, it's going to be very high in armor. And when I mean very high, I mean it's going to be interesting to look at. That is for sure. So I will actually be showing you that as well. But once you have everything down, like I said, guys, it makes it so much faster in the program because you can just click things, save, and be done. So anyways, we're gonna go into this. So you can see I have my resources, my cooldowns. I am gonna be switching one to vitality because that's gonna increase my toughness, and we're gonna be able to take more hits. So this set is not going to be high in damage necessarily. It's going to be high in defense and toughness and taking hits and being a badass like all Templars are meant to be, even though we are a Crusader, but still. So I'm not going to mess with my critical hit because I have that all set evenly. One thing I would like to make note is that your critical hit chance and damage maxes out. So I wouldn't go over a certain percentage, and if I'm not mistaken, unless you have passives or skills that increase it, the base maximum level for each character is 900% critical hit damage and 75% for critical hit chance. Now that can change depending on your character. I know the Hunter can go a little bit higher, or well, Demon Hunter, but that is like the base for each character, depending on like their skills and things like that. So just keep that in mind, guys. There are caps to certain things. Like the one thing that I noticed is everybody likes to put a crap ton of movement speed. That doesn't benefit you in any way. So wouldn't recommend doing that. But you can see I'm going to be adding armor. to my items. And you're probably thinking like that's really stupid. Well, this set is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be super serious, but we're gonna see how it works. So you can see I have 2 vitalities. I just put 2 armors. So we're gonna actually keep the 2 armor setup on each item because it's going to, instead of the base max armor, which is like 2200, or I think it's 2227, something like that. It's from a Crusader shield. I forget which one it is. It'll be a little bit higher, so it'll look a little bit different, and in most cases a little weird. And you may even see it in the game, like, what in the heck, he's got a crap ton of armor. Well, it was from this video. So we're actually going to do that to every single armor piece that we have. Now I am trying to figure out which of these shields I don't need, that because these are from the old set, so I don't need to worry about that. This is actually from the last set that I did for the Holy Crusader, the shotgun-ish build, so I don't actually need this. So I'm actually going to end up changing it, which I'm looking in my notes to see the name of it right now, actually. But here we go. So there's the item. We are good to go. You can't actually see my drop downs. I don't really know why. I just actually noticed that myself. But you get the general idea as you can see it switch on the screen. So I may end up changing some of the cooldown and resources and swapping them. Now I would like to say, be careful putting cooldown and resource cost, like a bunch of it, on an item, because it will reduce your chances, like your amount that you can have, your percentage. So I'd only put 2 maximum for cooldown and resource on each item, because it'll give you that alone will give you 19% for each one. And once you go from there, it kind of takes away. So I wouldn't recommend going over that per item, because it's supposed to give you 6 to 10 and 8 to 10, and since it's primal ancient, it'll give us the 10, but stacking it takes away. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, guys, until next time, have a wonderful evening or morning or night, whatever the case may be. I just wanted to show you guys like the process and why it takes me so long to make these sets. So guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.